They laughed when Rachel Sullivan walked into the base clinic, just a nurse hair, graying eyes quiet. But James Morrison freezes. The same Rachel who once led black ops through blizzards and firefights. "Ma'am," he whispers, voice cracking. Her nod is barely visible, but it hits like thunder. Stick around, they thought she was just medical support. What they didn't know. She trained the ones guarding this base, and one nod from her changes everything. Tell us in the comments where you're watching from and what time you found this video. Don't miss out on future content by subscribing now. The fluorescent lights hum steadily overhead as Commander Rachel Sullivan's practiced hands move with precision, wrapping a recruit's sprained wrist. Her patients never notice how her eyes regularly sweep the medical bay's entrances, a habit born from years of special operations that she can't quite shake. The pristine white coat feels like a costume, sometimes hiding the warrior beneath. The familiar rhythm of military boots against polished floors catches her attention, different from the usual hurried medic's pace or uncertain shuffle of patients. These footsteps belong to someone who moves with purpose, someone trained to read terrain even in sterile hallways. "There you go, Private. Ice it 20 minutes on 20 off." Rachel instructs her voice, carrying the warmth she's cultivated as base medical officer. But her spine stiffens slightly at the approaching steps. Her fingers brush unconsciously against the simple silver chain at her neck, her only remaining link to that other life. "The Nightingale!" The word cuts through the antiseptic air like a blade. Rachel's hands still for just a fraction of a second. A pause so slight only someone equally trained would notice. She turns, maintaining the calm demeanor that's become her shield, to face Lieutenant Commander James Morrison. His eyes lock onto the combat watch he'd given her years ago, now carefully concealed beneath her white coat sleeve. The same model as the one on his wrist. A matched set from a mission that doesn't officially exist. Lieutenant Commander she acknowledges professionally, but there's a flicker in her eyes. Recognition, shared history, and perhaps a touch of resignation. The careful facade she's built begins to crack. "I didn't expect to find you here," James says quietly, his tone carrying unspoken questions. Around them, the medical bay continues its normal routine, oblivious to the weight of this moment. Rachel's fingers trace the edge of her name badge. Commander Sullivan, Medical Officer. Such a small thing to hide such a big truth. People see what they expect to see. She replies, her voice carrying just a hint of the steel that earned her the call sign Nightingale in the field. The question hangs in the air, unspoken, but pressing. How long can someone with her skills, her history, her instincts hide behind a medical officer's mask? And more importantly, should she? Type warrior in the comments if you believe there's more to Commander Sullivan's story than meets the eye. The steady beep of medical monitors provides a rhythmic backdrop as Rachel straightens her white coat, a gesture reminiscent of checking tactical gear before a mission. The professional mask slides back into place, but something has changed. The question isn't just whether anyone else knows her true identity. It's whether she remembers who she really is. Through the sterile corridors of Naval Medical Center San Diego, I can't help but notice the quiet efficiency of Commander Sullivan's movements. My combat watch, a weathered Casio that survived 3 deployments, ticks away as I observe her expertly handling routine physicals and basic procedures. But there's something in her eyes, a barely contained intensity that most miss. I've seen that look before, in the harsh glare of combat flashlights during midnight operations. Routine administration in 10 minutes. Commander Onpor, a young corpsman, announces, and I watch Rachel's, Commander Sullivan's, jaw tighten almost imperceptibly. She nods, maintaining the perfect composure expected of a medical officer, but I recognize the subtle tells of a warrior constrained. The problem runs deeper than simple misallocation of talent. During my research into base operations, I discovered a troubling pattern 68% of decorated combat veterans transitioning to support roles report feeling their full capabilities go unrecognized. The science is clear. This underutilization doesn't just impact individual service members, it reduces overall unit effectiveness by 23%. A memory surfaces Rachel leading a complex extraction under heavy fire in Kandahar, her decisive commands saving our entire team. Now she's reviewing supply requisitions. My watch beeps softly. 1400 hours time for another routine meeting. "Everything all right, Lieutenant Commander?" she asks, catching my thoughtful stare. "Just thinking about Kandahar," I reply carefully. Something flashes in her eyes. Pride, perhaps, or longing, before the professional mask returns. The real issue isn't just about Commander Sullivan, it's about a system that sometimes fails to see the whole person behind the current role. Studies from the Naval Postgraduate School show that combat leaders placed in support positions often suppress their tactical instincts, leading to increased stress and decreased job satisfaction. Walking past the training area, I pause to watch a group of corpsmen practicing basic emergency response. Commander Sullivan passes by, and I notice her slight hesitation, her eyes scanning the scenario with the tactical awareness of someone who's handled far worse under real fire. Looking down at my combat watch, I'm struck by a harsh truth. Every tick represents another moment of squandered potential. Not just hers, but the lost opportunity for others to learn from her experience. The base's medical training could be revolutionized by someone who's performed emergency medicine while taking fire. Have you ever felt your true capabilities were hidden behind someone else's assumptions? Comment below with your story of feeling underestimated. The metallic clang of equipment being moved echoes through the corridor as another shift change begins. Commander Sullivan efficiently handles the transition, but I notice her fingers brush against the combat medic badge partially hidden under her current medical insignia. Our story's motif appearing in a moment of quiet reflection. The whispers in the corridors tell me I'm not alone in my observations. "Did you know she's authorized to wear the combat action ribbon?" I overhear one corpsman asking another. "No way," comes the surprised response. "But she's just a regular medical officer. Just a regular medical officer." The words cement my growing conviction that this hidden problem affects not just Commander Sullivan, but the entire base's potential for excellence. The scientific literature is clear, diverse experience enhances medical training outcomes by 47%. Yet here we are, letting combat-tested wisdom remain untapped. My watch ticks on marking time in a facility that could be so much more led by a leader whose full potential remains in the shadows. The question isn't just about one commander's unrecognized capabilities. It's about how many others we might be overlooking and what that costs us all. The fluorescent lights cast harsh shadows across the medical bay. As I adjusted my grip on the leather-bound notebook, its pages filled with careful observations. My combat watch, a reminder of missions I'd rather forget, caught the glare as I documented another concerning gap in the base's medical response protocols. Commander Sullivan moved with practiced efficiency, teaching the latest batch of combat medics, but I could see the carefully contained power in her movements. The way she positioned herself, always maintaining situational awareness. Those weren't the habits of a typical medical officer. The sharp crack of practice rounds echoed from the nearby range, making one of the younger medics flinch. Sullivan didn't even blink. Her eyes met mine briefly, a flash of understanding passing between us. She knew I'd recognized what others had missed. "Ma'am," I called out as she passed me in the hallway later that day. "A moment of your time." The security camera in the corner whirred slightly as it adjusted. I hadn't noticed the young corporal with her phone out, partially hidden behind a supply cart. "Of course, Lieutenant Commander." Her voice was carefully neutral, but I caught the slight shift in her stance. "Combat ready even here." "These scenarios they're running," I said, gesturing with my notebook. "They're missing crucial elements, things you could teach them." I paused, watching her reaction. Things a decorated special operations leader would know. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead as silence stretched between us. In that moment, I saw something flash across her face. Not fear or anger, but a deep weariness I recognized all too well. "How long have you known?" she asked quietly. "Since I saw you correct Private Chen's grip on his rifle while demonstrating field dressing techniques. No standard medical officer moves like that?" I tapped my watch unconsciously. "Or carries themselves like someone who's spent years in the field." A small group of medical staff had gathered at the far end of the hallway, trying to appear busy while clearly eavesdropping. The corporal's phone was definitely recording now. "What do you want?" Sullivan's voice held an edge of steel. "To help you stop hiding your light under a bushel, Commander. These recruits need what you know, all of it. The real-world tactical medicine that could save their lives." Her expression shifted, something like hope breaking through the careful mask. "It's not that simple. Actually, it is." I held up my notebook. "I've documented 37 instances where your special operations experience could have enhanced these training scenarios. 37 opportunities to save lives were missing." The video of our conversation went viral within hours. Hidden Hero started trending with thousands sharing stories of quiet professionals whose true value went unrecognized. But it wasn't until I saw Sullivan demonstrating advanced tactical medicine to a packed training room the next week, her movements now unrestricted and confident, that I truly understood the consequences of that hallway conversation. The base had gained more than just enhanced medical training. They'd gained a leader who could finally bring her full self to the mission. As I watched her teach, my combat watch caught the light again. A reminder that sometimes the most powerful consequences come from simply seeing people for who they truly are. A sharp wail pierces the sterile halls of Mercy Medical Wing, and my heart leaps into my throat. Not from fear, from recognition. The moment I've been waiting for. Through my office window, I watch Dr. Sullivan's transformation, and suddenly I'm back in Kandahar watching the legendary Nightingale move through shadows. Security breach in Sector 7. The automated system announces, but I barely hear it. My eyes are locked on Sullivan as she shifts, so subtle most would miss it. The gentle healer's mask slips away, revealing the warrior beneath. Her shoulders' square chin lifting slightly. And there's that unmistakable predator's grace I remember from a dozen classified missions. And my watch timer starts. Old habits. She catches the sound head turning a fraction. Our eyes meet across the corridor, and I see the question there. Will I keep her secret? I answer with a slight nod, then deliberately position myself by the security camera. This needs to be documented. "Ma'am, we need to evacuate the young corporal starts, but Sullivan's already moving. Get the patients to the safe zone." She commands, her voice carrying that quiet authority that once guided elite teams through hell itself. "Maintain protocol, Echo 7. The distinctive rhythm of her combat boots on steel stairs echoes through the stairwell, a sound burned into my memory from darker days. Few would recognize the tactical pattern, but I do. She's clearing sectors just like she taught us. My phone captures everything as she flows through the facility, every precise movement, every strategic pause. When the intruder, a confused veteran having an episode, appears, Sullivan doesn't hesitate. But she doesn't strike. Instead, she speaks soft and steady. "James," she says, using his first name, "you're at Mercy Wing. You're safe. Remember the breathing exercise we practiced Tuesday?" The man's shoulders slowly drop. Sullivan approaches combat-ready but radiating calm. It's a dance I've seen before, the perfect blend of warrior and healer that made her legendary. Within 3 minutes, the situation's contained. No casualties, no force needed. Pure Nightingale. I upload the footage before she can object. The base needs to see this. The world needs to see this. Within hours, Winter Nightingale Rises trends across military channels, then civilian ones. CNN picks it up by evening. "You planned this," she says later, finding me in my office. There's no anger in her voice, just that familiar tactical assessment. I stand at parade rest, meeting her gaze. "The world deserves to know both sides of you, Commander. The warrior who protects, and the healer who saves. That's why you were the best of us." A ghost of a smile crosses her face. She glances at my combat watch, the one that's timed every major operation I've witnessed. "Still keeping count, Morrison?" "Always, ma'am. Someone needs to document the legend." The next day, base personnel salute her with new understanding in their eyes. Medical staff stand straighter when she passes. And in the break room, I overhear two young lieutenants. "Did you see how she moved? But she never broke from being a doctor first." That's why they called her Nightingale. Guardian and healer. Type Guardian if you believe in heroes who heal and protect. The security footage plays on the break room TV, showing Sullivan's fluid transition from doctor to warrior and back. Each time I check my watch, counting the seconds between roles. Some habits never die, and some legends deserve to be remembered in their full glory. Share this story if you believe heroes come in many forms. Nightingale Rises. The fluorescent lights of the briefing room cast a gentle glow on Commander Sullivan's combat watch. The same watch that had guided countless missions, now keeping time as she revolutionized emergency response training. From my position beside her, I could see the quiet pride in her eyes, so different from the careful restraint of those first days when I'd discovered her decorated past. Integration isn't just about procedures. She explains, her voice carrying the same steady confidence that once commanded special operations teams. It's about recognizing that every person in this facility brings unique expertise that makes us stronger together. The watch catches the light as she gestures, and I remember how that glint first caught my attention, sparking the revelation that changed everything. The assembled medical staff and base personnel lean forward, completely captivated. Here stands the Nightingale they'd overlooked, not diminished by her choice to serve in a different capacity, but elevated by it. A ripple of understanding moves through the room as she outlines her vision, one that bridges the gap between combat medicine and daily care. What we witnessed during the recent emergency wasn't just quick thinking, I add, watching her subtle smile. It was the perfect fusion of tactical excellence and medical expertise. That's the standard we should all aspire to. When the applause begins, it builds like a wave. Spontaneous, genuine, unstoppable. The sound fills every corner of the room, echoing off walls that once contained whispered doubts. Sullivan's hand unconsciously touches her watch, a gesture I've come to recognize as her anchor to both past and present. "Commander, hi," a young medic approaches after the briefing, eyes bright with admiration. "Your background in special ops. It must have been hard to step away from that role." Sullivan's response captures the profound truth I've witnessed unfold. I never stepped away. I stepped forward. Sometimes the greatest service we can offer is to bring our full selves to new challenges, to show others that excellence knows no boundaries. The watch gleams one final time as she removes it, presenting it to the young medic. This kept time through countless missions, but its most important role was reminding me who I am. Perhaps it can do the same for you. The passing of the watch, from legendary operative to aspiring medic, symbolizes everything Sullivan has taught us about recognition integration and the power of seeing people for all they can be. As I watch them together, I understand the ultimate truth. Recognition isn't just about discovering hidden talents. It's about creating space for those talents to transform entire communities. Sullivan didn't need to choose between her past excellence and her present calling. By embracing both, she showed us all how to be more complete versions of ourselves. Share this story if you believe in breaking down barriers and recognizing excellence in unexpected places. Nightingale leads. Standing there in that bright briefing room watching Sullivan mentor the next generation, I realized that sometimes the most powerful changes start with a single moment of recognition. One person seeing another for who they truly are, and helping others see it too. Like ripples in still water that recognition spreads, transforming not just individuals, but entire institutions. The sound of continued conversation fills the room as Sullivan engages with more staff members, each eager to learn from her integrated approach. The watch may now rest in new hands, but its legacy lives on in every person inspired to bring their full selves to their calling. Sometimes the greatest gift we can give is simply seeing, truly seeing, the excellence that stands before us waiting to soar.